first one addresses emails concerning the community center rental. The second one is the hay lease. The third one is a contract with Delbert on $500 a year for mowing hay. The fourth one is the verbal warning during the executive meeting in February. And I even pulled a copy of the employee warning report so that you can familiarize yourself with that. And last one is the cost and the contract with Rita Baldwin.
Well, we'll turn this over to her.
Well, you just know I'm required to give each one of you a copy of that, because the clerk doesn't have the responsibility to make sure that it gets delivered to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
I'm Joe Stoll, my wife Leah. Oops, sorry. We just recently bought a place out east of town here, and somewhere between us and the real estate lady we had a misunderstanding, I guess. When we got up there and we got talking to the neighbors, realized it was in the city limits. And we have a few animals, and I thought we'd come in here and address that before we move them up there, because I'm under the understanding we can't have animals in the city limits, right?
I don't know.
So that was the reason that I came. So
Where's the
it's 634 across from the Nazarene Church. There is what the property is. And I think are you the one I talked to when I called? Yeah.
Yes.
Some of the neighbors I got started talking to, and they're like, well, you are in city limits here. And I said, oh, I didn't know that. So I thought I'd better call in and check that for I didn't want to start making a bunch of fences and all that stuff if I'm not supposed to, you know.
Without checking, I don't know if there is any requirement.
If I'm mistaken, a few years ago we got this, and I think horses are about the only thing that are allowed. Is that the way it says in there?
That's about right.
The way I understand it, horses are not allowed unless, not new, but there are some that's been grandfathered in. Is that the way you understand it as well?
I was thinking that's the way it was.
Yes, and I was trying to find that here.
I think it says barn yard animals,
Yeah.
I think.
Ask him to make a ruling in your favor. Back here.
Yeah, I know what it talks about.
I went down with your only mode of transportation, you know. Right. It's our religious beliefs. We can travel by horse.
Domestic animals, any cow, goat, pig, chicken, turkey, guinea, horse, yes, horse, and then it comes down here and it talks about domestic animals. There's a joke there. Yeah. Wild or exotic domestic animals are part of it. No wild or exotic animals shall be harbored without shelter, bought, sold, or traded within the town without the necessary state. No domestic animals shall be harbored within the town limits, and the definition of domestic animals is any cow, goat, pig, chicken, turkey, guinea, horse, burro, or any other farm animal.
Okay. No, I thought I'd check that with you guys and see if we use horses for transportation. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but we're from the Amish church, and we wanted to address that with you guys before we done anything. We didn't want to just barge in on it and do something we shouldn't. So, but I didn't know if there was a chance we could maybe do something out that far or not.
Yeah,
But
I don't know, we can take a look at that.
yeah.
There's could be or should be an exception for that, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I mean, are we 100% certain that's the last property on the road before the county road?
Yeah.
I mean, bought
I
the
think-
property.
Yeah.
I mean, so, I mean, is it all completely in city limits? Do we know that 100% certain? Or?
That's what I wasn't real positive either. I just was going by what she told me on the phone that day where the line was at. It's basically on the property line, two edges of the property line. But,
I was basically on the map.
Right.
And you can check it at the courthouse.
I didn't
Well,
check
I
it.
think you probably should check it.
Because if we do annexation like we discussed, there could be some other families adversely affected by that as well. So,
I would recommend you get a hold of the courthouse and confirm where that whole property is in city limits, just to make sure, start there.
okay.
all right, you have already bought it, or?
Yeah, I have already bought it, yeah. I had thought about it before I bought it, you know, being close to town, but somewhere between me and the real estate agent we were dealing with, we had a misunderstanding, I guess, you know, and that's where we're at now.
You have a field there with it,
There's 7 acres down on the east side of the house there, the piece of property we bought. That was basically all I had, just to see if what you guys thought about that, you know, if that would be an exception there being out there like that or not. But thought I would bring it forward to you guys before I move on it.
John, you know the property, don't you?
well, yeah.
Yeah, Bubba Sears.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like I say, if we go south, then we'll have the same situation also. You don't have other livestock?
No, I don't. We actually have deer, white-tailed deer, but we're thinking about selling them anyways, and it's probably not going to work out there either. So we've got 2 horses is what we have. We don't have it's not like we have a bunch of horses. Not that it makes a difference, you know, 1 or 100, but that's what we have is 2 deer or 2 horses, and then we have a few deer, but we'll probably leave them where they're at and get rid of them. It's kind of the plan.
I don't want to make it possible for you to live here.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got to do what we got to do, but that's why I thought I wanted to address it before I make a move on making a bunch of fences and stuff. You know, I don't know. If it's inside the city limits, it's inside. You know, I don't. Where it is where it is. But I didn't know being that far out there if we could make an exception on that
That's
or
why
not.
I said, well, you know, that's why I said double check with the courthouse to make sure the whole 7 acres is in fact in city limits. In the meantime, we'll consult with our attorney and
Okay.
get recommendations as to what we can't do to work with you somehow. No promises, but we'll, you know,
Yeah.
work with you what we can.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate
What
you.
about the time frame? How does that work for you? We meet once a month.
The sooner the better, but I mean, I'm not in no big rush. I mean, just whatever you guys got to do, you know. I mean, the sooner the better for me, but I understand it takes a day or two too to get with everybody.
We don't plan any special meeting to where it could be taken up sooner, but just want that understood that we won't be meeting again for 4 more weeks.
Another 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That'll give you adequate time to get a hold of the
Yeah,
courthouse.
yeah, I
and
can
all that,
check with
too.
them too and figure something out. So.
Thanks for
Well, I
coming in.
appreciate you guys' time too. Thanks a
a lot.
lot.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Anyone else? I'm sorry.
So I'm sorry I was late, I can help that. Usually that happens.
All right, no other comment, we'll move on.
Give them this one, man.
Yeah. Community building, issue we'll take up now. Is there somebody here representing the community building?
That's great.
3 of them there.
Okay, what we have and what we're dealing with is a budget that won't pay expenses over that. And we're going in a hole almost every year. Trying to tighten up, trying to charge all that we can, but, the costs are there, and